Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin. Check. You already know. Let's go. Welcome to Gold and Blue today, everybody. This is a college football channel. So if you like college football, hit the like and subscribe button. It's that simple. Also, send gear to represent your team and be a part of my background forever. All you have to do is send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. If we have to wait till the end of the season and wait for the buyout to go down, I'm okay with that. Save some money, negotiate the buyout, time to move on from Neal Brown. But it's not, there's several things that are pointing to, no matter what, we're not firing Neal Brown after 2022. Even if we go freaking 3-9, we're not firing Neal Brown. Number one, Shane Lyons keeps coming out and saying, we back Neal Brown. We support him. We have faith in him. Blah, 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 blah. And I understand that we went out and got a better offense. West Virginia looks much better on the offense, but then our defense fell off the cliff. So the one thing that we could count on for the past 3 years under Neal Brown was defense. And then all of a sudden, he finally realizes that we need an offensive coordinator, goes out and gets Graham Harrell, and that attracts JT Daniels. We have a great offense. Bryce Ford Wheaton's having a pretty good year, but now our defense sucks. And we're looking at 3-5. West Virginia is playing Iowa State right now as we speak. I don't know what the score is. I don't know what the outcome of this game is going to be. But it seems like no matter what, West Virginia will retain Neal Brown. And, even the character of the Clowntaineer, a.k.a. the West Virginia Clown, has emerged because West Virginians look like a clown show. We've looked like a clown show the entire year. And I am a diehard West Virginia fan, and, I don't do that lightly, but, it is what it is. West Virginia doesn't look good, and as a West Virginia fan, I'm not happy about it. Not at all. I want West Virginia to be back to where West Virginia was before Dana Holgorsen. And don't get me wrong, I do not want Dana Holgorsen back. Maybe he would be a good offensive coordinator, but that's it. Not a head coach. Dana Holgorsen is the reason why West Virginia got in the situation that we're in now, and Neal Brown has made it worse. And I've even done videos on who I would prefer over Neal Brown as far as if we fired him, who we could go out and get. Hugh Freeze was number one, and I know Liberty just extended him, so the chances of getting him went down a little bit. But I'm sure that could still get worked out. But he was number one. Tom Herman's out there, and I've gotten a lot of pushback. No, not Tom Herman. He's had fights with players, disagreements, all this. No. The main reason why Tom Herman was fired at Texas is because he didn't get along with the boosters. He is a great head coach. He recruits at a high level. He had success in the Big 12. He has experience in the Big 12. Tom Herman would be a great fit at West Virginia. I talked about Lance Leipold over there at Kansas. I love the offense that guy runs. I think that would fit in perfectly at West Virginia. Matt Rule, he just got fired from the Carolina Panthers, and I know he's going to be on high demand as far as other coaching jobs, but I still think we need to pursue Matt Rule. Even Rich Rodriguez. I made a video the other day for the case for Rich Rodriguez. I know a lot of West Virginians don't like the way he left West Virginia, and I agree. The way he left West Virginia wasn't good, but the reason he left West Virginia actually wasn't bad at all. He wanted a raise for his assistants so he could keep everybody together so West Virginia could keep having success. And West Virginia said, thanks, but no thanks. We don't think that you've earned that. So he moved on to Michigan. And no, I don't like the way he did it, but the reason he did it is fine with me. I understand. I would welcome him back with open arms. And he's had success past West Virginia. No, he flopped at Michigan. He flopped at Michigan, that is for sure. But he's had success beyond that. At Arizona, he did great. Had a 10-4 season. The first time in 15 years that Arizona had a 10-win season. And he's went on to be an offensive coordinator elsewhere and had success there. And now he's the head coach at Jacksonville State, and they've gotten off to a 7-2 start. I think the offense that Rich Rod would bring to West Virginia would have success. So I would be open to Rich Rod. Now, the reason that I'm saying it's not looking good for Neal Brown as far as if you're wanting Neal Brown gone, number one, I mentioned the Shane Lyons thing. But number two, there's been sources of mine that's had interviews and talks with the recruits that are coming into West Virginia that are planted firm. Rodney Gallagher, a high caliber recruit, one of the best we've had in over a decade. He said he's planted in West Virginia. He's coming to West Virginia no matter what. West Virginia just picked a 4-star wide receiver, Traylon Ray, over Tennessee, over Florida, over these high-caliber teams. He picked West Virginia, and he's sticking with West Virginia. So Neal Brown he's still recruiting at a high level for West Virginia, and I know we don't want to lose that, but at some point it has to transfer over onto the field. So there's a lot of reasons why Neal Brown's not going to be fired from West Virginia, and it's kind of weird. I'm kind of torn. You're kind of hoping for these recruits to be like, I see the train wreck that's going on at West Virginia. I don't want to be a part of that, so I'm transferring out. I'm going elsewhere. But at the same time, you still want West Virginia to have success. Maybe they can stay in spite of Neal Brown being fired. All I'm telling you is there's a lot of signs pointing to where Neal Brown's not going to be fired from West Virginia. If we're stuck with Neal Brown, I really do hope that he turns it around. I just don't see any signs pointing to him actually turning it around, other than he's still recruiting at a high level. But when is that going to transfer onto the field? Like even Nico Marco hasn't seen any type of game time here at West Virginia. And I know JT Daniels, he's the starter. But there has been some situations to where we could have given Nico Marco some meaningful minutes as far as playing a game for West Virginia. And we just haven't seen it. So even though he's recruiting at a high level, it just hasn't transferred on to the actual field and given us some hope for winning some games. And that's what it comes down to. At one point in time, a lot of people were talking about Jimbo Fisher coming over to West Virginia. No, we do not want Jimbo Fisher. I do expect Jimbo Fisher to get fired at Texas A&M. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. It could be this year. I mean, Texas A&M is off to a 3-6 start. They can miss a bowl. They are on a 5-game losing streak. 5-game losing streak. That is not good at all. Jimbo Fisher seems like he's put out a smokescreen to make everybody think that he's been a great head coach. Yes, he did win a national championship over there at Florida State. But when he left Florida State was in the worst shape they've been in like over 30 years. I mean, terrible conditions over there. They're still trying to recover. They're still trying to rebuild from the shambles that Jimbo Fisher left Florida State in. And it looks like he's doing the same thing to Texas A&M. Yes, he had an all-time great recruiting class this past year that was basically bought with the NIL. But hey, that's legal, so that's besides the point. So he got a great recruiting class. But when is his efforts going to transfer onto the field? It's almost the same exact situation as Neal Brown over here at West Virginia. He's recruiting at a high level over there at Texas A&M, but it's just not transferring over to the field, over to games. They're not winning games. The best he's done, yes, was 2020 when they were one spot away from getting to the playoffs, but that's it. After that, 8-4, 8-4, 8-4. And this year, Texas A&M not even going to be 8-4. Texas A&M could miss a bowl game. They get a road trip to Auburn, then they get UMass at home. Yes, that should be a gimme game. And then they get a ranked LSU at home. Texas A&M is in a real situation, a real possibility of missing a bowl. So yes, eventually, I don't know if it's this year or next year, Texas A&M will fire Jimbo Fisher, and Texas A&M will have to eat a lot of money. And Jimbo Fisher will leave Texas A&M in a bad spot, just like he left Florida State. So no, stay away from Jimbo Fisher. And I know in an interview not too long ago, he said never say never. He loves the situation that he's in. Home is home. Well, guess what? Home shouldn't want Jimbo Fisher because he's going to do the same thing that he did at Florida State and Texas A&M. Maybe he'll also recruit at a high level at West Virginia, but it also will not translate onto the field. So it's basically doing the same thing as what we're doing with Neal Brown. Recruiting at a decent level, but it just doesn't translate to wins on the field. And that's what West Virginia needs right now. Wins on the field. So it's time to fire Neal Brown and no, not go out and get Jimbo Fisher. But it looks like neither one of those things are going to happen anyways. It looks like Neal Brown's not going to be fired. And maybe Jimbo Fisher does last another year. I don't know. College football is crazy. Florida goes on the road and beats Texas A&M. Right now, West Virginia is playing Iowa State. We'll see what happens there. I think West Virginia misses a bowl. This is a must-win game today for West Virginia and next week against Oklahoma. And then hopefully we upset either Kansas State or Oklahoma State. That is the only way West Virginia gets to a bowl. If we lose today against Iowa State, we're not getting to a bowl. But it seems like that doesn't matter. Neal Brown is here to stay. So I'm sorry, West Virginia fans, but it looks like you might be seeing the Clowntoneer for an extended amount of time. Y'all let me know in the comments section, what are your thoughts about this? Are you okay with West Virginia keeping Neal Brown? Are you bummed about this? Does he need to be fired right now? What about Jimbo Fisher over there at Texas A&M? Does he need to be fired right now? I mean, it just seems like all hope is lost for both West Virginia fans and Texas A&M fans. I know, this is a down video. It happens sometimes. That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.